of a mountain someday. I feel the wind picking up now.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, that's the cue to get off for sure.
Yeah. Welcome to the Wilderness Wavelength Podcast.
We're live from a chairlift right now.
I love it.
This is the Wilderness Wavelength Podcast, broadcasting from Marmot Basin. What's the name of this chair we're on?
This is the one that goes all the way to the top, not the Eagle.
From the bottom to the top.
It's a high-speed quad.
Yeah.
My
nice
quads have been going in high speed, I'll tell you. They are burning.
We've done one run so far. How much you been out this year?
I went out once, and I did like 2 runs at a local hill in Edmonton, which is about, let's say about 100th the size, maybe 1,000th the size of Marmot. It's really small.
Snow's good today. It's the first day of Jasper in January. Not too busy though. Like I was expecting just to be packed.
Yeah, we got ahead of us is a single on this 4-person lift.
Yeah,
we're by ourselves on this 4-person lift.
Yeah,
I don't even think there's someone behind us.
This is wild. This is cool. I love the idea of podcasting. I hope it picks up like the little bit of wind. Chairlift stopping.
Yeah, somebody's having an accident somewhere.
That used to be. I started learning to snowboard with buddy Dan, our mutual friend, in Edson at Silver Summit. It was like a tiny little hill, and we struggled getting off the lift. Yeah. And so like the guy who was always raking up our snow piles, he'd see us coming on the lift, and you'd see him shaking his head like, here I go.
Yeah. I worked lifts a little bit. I used to teach skiing way back when. One of the job actually changed my life by making me realize how much better my entire life would get by doing something that I felt good about and passionate about.
Yeah.
And so I vowed never to work another job that I didn't love after that. And I haven't.
Yeah. Do you miss teaching skiing?
Yeah, I do. I got to do a little bit of teaching with my girlfriend because she's a very beginner skier, and that was kind of fun to flex that muscle again. But there's just no money in it.
Yeah, your girlfriend's not paying much.
No.
You can charge a bit more.
Yeah.
Reuben was on the podcast before. We talked about outdoor festivals, but one thing we never talked about was like a life-changing experience that happened while you were skiing.
Yeah.
That was a few years ago.
I assume you're alluding to the time I broke my back in a terrain park. Fractured my L1 vertebrae. Had to spend 10 days in the hospital and get a fusion surgery of my T12 through my L2. All fused up and now stronger than ever. Yeah.
Do you feel a little bit like, I don't want to say like PTSD, but like
apprehensive?
Yeah.
Well, I've committed to not doing jumps anymore. Like when I was a kid, I was just all about jumps and cliffs and whatever I could huck myself off of. And I'd have huge falls and I'd just get up and walk away and nothing would be, nothing would matter. And I wanted to get back into like freestyle. This is 10, 15 years ago to help. It's a good, healthy activity to do and something that I felt passionate about. So I was just kind of getting back into it, and I'd been hitting some jumps at Rabbit Hill, another Edmonton local club. Yeah. And then we went to Snow Valley, and I hadn't hit this jump before. And I decided, okay, it's labeled as a large. They label jumps small, medium, large, extra large. And I'd been hitting a jump at Rabbit at a large, so I was like, it should be about the same as that. And I tried to go into it with about the same speed, but I definitely went a bit faster.
Overshot. So it's like a tabletop.
It was a tabletop jump, yeah. And then there's a steep landing. If you land on that area, nice and smooth,
you're
butter. But then past that area, it's a flatter zone, and that's where I landed. I was also a little bit back. If I would have been a little bit more forward and balanced in the air, might have been okay.
When you're airbound in that situation, do you know like, this is going to be bad?
I was like, as soon as it was too big, I was like about a second off of the lip of the jump.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm definitely going past the landing area there.
Reuben is skiing today. I'm snowboarding.
Yep.
You ever try snowboarding?
I did, yeah. They used to let me when I used to teach, they'd let me take the rentals out for free.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So I did, and I think I went to Rabbit Hill once as well.
Prefer skiing, though?
Yeah.
How come?
Well, being able to skate around in the flat spot, like my favorite mountain is Sunshine, and the snowboarders all complain.
Oh, yeah, a few flat spots.
There's some flat spots there that they have to take the boards off and hike.
Speaking of that, our podcast question of the week was, what's your favorite run on your favorite mountain?
Ooh.
Sunshine, your favorite mountain?
I think it would have to be, yeah. And the favorite run there, I like I think it's called Birdcage.
Okay.
It's kind of in behind, between the Standish chair. If you go off the Standish chair, you can get there. Or there was one that was a T-bar. I think it's now a chairlift, and that was so between that T-bar and Standish. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's all like gladed areas.
What's good about the run?
There's some like really nice cliffs that are just
cool.
not huge,
Yeah.
but like 5 to 10 feet, and they're just so fun to huck off of. And then it's got moguls. I loved skiing moguls.
Yeah.
And then lots of good little natural hits off like the sides of there's a few spots where you can get some nice
We're just passing the Eagle Ridge chair. You said that's a favorite of yours too, eh?
Yeah, Eagle Ridge. There's some bowls off of there, getting gladed skiing. That's really nice up there.
Man, I would say for today, I don't know what the temperature is. Maybe -5, -10 right now.
Maybe. Feels
beautiful.
Feels like 0 to me. I just feel completely comfortable.
Little breeze when you're on the chairlift.
Yeah.
We came to Marmot, man. This would have been, I was like 17, 18. And it was between -20, -30, and no one on the hill. Heavy winds, but just a ton of powder. The whole hill was powder.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you would dread going on the lift because you're freezing. But then when you get off the lift and you're just flying through the powder, oh, man. One of my most memorable days of snowboarding.
Nice.
I have tried skiing a little bit, but I love the... Growing up, I was really into some of the big Danny Cass, grenade gloves, and it was such a big snowboard culture, and I just kind of got immersed in that, and that got me into it. But I've tried a little bit of skiing. I like that too. So I think I'll go snowboarding for the most part, but when Casey gets a bit older, be interested to see what he wants to do if skiing or snowboarding is the way to go.
Sure. And if he's going to be on the bunny hill, then that's a good time for you to spend some time on the bunny hill, getting used to skis. No,
I'm dropping him off and hitting.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be back up hours, Case. Have fun. Yeah, that's the thing that we're trying to figure out right now. Because it felt like it used to be more of an affordable sport.
Yeah.
Now you're coming up here and lift tickets are $150 a day. So it's to take a kid that's maybe just learning, maybe you got to start at just some smaller hills where you can just
I think so.
walk up. And
it's pretty affordable. In Edmonton, we have the Marmot Escape cards, which is a pretty cool
Not a bad deal.
Because it's $100 to buy the card, and then it's half price anytime you go. And the cool thing is it's also half price at some of the places in Edmonton. Like when we went to the Edmonton Ski Club, it was half price there as well.
I like it because it gives me a little more pressure to go again too. I'm I got to make sure I take advantage of this deal.
Yeah, you got to go at least twice to pay for the card, and then you want to go at least another couple times to really get the value out of it.
Morris sent a message into the podcast. He said his favorite run on his favorite hill is called Tres Hombres, and that's on Marmot here. So I'm not familiar with that one.
Hombres.
I'll track it down. Yeah, from the picture that I looked at, it looks like it might be a little bit of a black diamond-ish one. So we'll see about that. Are we hitting some blacks today?
Well, I can always side slip down them if I don't want to rip down them. I think once you learn side slipping, then you can basically get down anything. You don't feel comfortable, just throw the brakes on, side slip a little bit, and then you can pick it back up.
Wind's picking up. We're getting closer to the top of the mountain. We are planning on doing a couple more. Let's record one on the Eagle chair.
Sure.
And we got to hit the knob chair too.
Yeah.
I remember I haven't been on the updated knob chair because the old one was kind of a two-person rickety one that felt like it was due for an upgrade. So I'm excited to see what that's about. But man, Marmot, great condition, lifts, running good.
Yeah, smooth.
It's a nice day up here. So I'm gonna. This is the dicey part. I got a backpack with my podcasting gear, which is not as small as I would like it to be. In this, but we'll shut this down. And we'll talk to you guys live from the next chairlift, or maybe the chalet even.
Woohoo.
We're gonna try out a pint and a burger somewhere too.
Absolutely.
Wilderness Wavelength.
Jiggity.
Jiggity jiggity.
Back on the lift.
Eagle
Ridge.
Got a little. Is this a little? Got a little rail park. You ever doing the rails?
Yeah. I remember the first time I was kind of learning rails. I kept sliding off and landing on the rail, and my thigh would kind of land on the rail.
It's not a great feeling.
Yeah, the bruise I had was unreal because I fell in the exact same spot probably 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was doing a rail, and it was a wooden rail that had like an ice top, like kind of like a log.
Yeah.
And I was doing it, and it was fun. And then I went to do it again, but it had thawed out, and I hopped on it, and it just stuck. Yeah, it stuck to the wood, and then I went flying forward. It was such a shock to not slide on it.
I grew up on like a little farm,
and we had some hills there, and so my buddy Dan and we built a bunch of jumps, and we like had some like, I guess, homemade rails. Like we found like an old like telephone tower we turned into a rail.
Nice.
And we had like some I remember pieces of like PVC pipe that we used for rails. And then we filmed everything. I had my grandma's old like big camcorder.
Sure.
And we would film
on
these
tape.
doing jumps, and we didn't have the technology to put music in, so we just had music going on in the background. I just remember vividly our old house. We were building a new house, and our old house was still standing. So we got on the roof of the old house, and we're jumping off the roof. And I remember like blaring Eve 6 and
Inside Out.
Inside Out, yeah. And we had some fun times jumping quads.
So you're just landing flat, like jumping off the roof and landing on the flat?
Yeah. Painful.
Yeah? You feel that on the bottom of your feet?
We tried to like build a little bit of a ramp going down, but never really got it figured out. But I still have the tapes and the camcorder.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'll
gotta get that digitized.
Yeah,
so the tape wears away. It gets it like oxidizes and stuff.
I've been working on it. I haven't done it in the past couple of years, but I had a bunch of old cameras. Like it was my grandma's old one, and she had a bunch of old like family videos and stuff, so I started putting those onto just like a private YouTube channel for her to watch. And
nice.
I'll get the snowboarding one too.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing that on your social media.
You got any destination hills you'd love to go to that you haven't been to yet?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to ski in the Alps. Switzerland would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe Austria. I always thought it was cool. They had like towns where you'd ski from town to town, and
sweet.
then have lifts. Like the whole thing is connected. You don't drive. You're just skiing everywhere you go there.
Yeah. What about like the maybe not heli skiing, but like cat skiing?
I've never done that. Never done heli skiing either. I was never big into powder. I loved the terrain park, and I loved moguls. And if I was going off of a cliff, like it was all like just inbound stuff. Yeah. So there might be a little bit of powder, but oftentimes I was just landing on kind of almost packed stuff.
Yeah.
So
when I was a teenager, I was like the first guy in my friend group that had a car, and we were living like close to Edson. So we'd come up here every weekend and have like 5 or 6 buddies in the car. It was old Chrysler Dynasty, did not have heat. And so we had a couple guys in the front seat with like scrapers scraping off the windows, and we all had our full snowboard gear on the whole time.
Yeah.
But we would come up, so we'd like start at the bottom of the hill, and there'd be a quad, and you'd ride up the quad, and you go down to the triple, right up to the triple, and that would take you kind of to where the first lift now takes you.
Yeah.
And then we'd get there, and we'd hike up the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
And then build some big jumps, and we'd spend the day doing that.
Yeah. When I was 20, I would have been right there with you.
Yeah.
Now, oh my God.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
It's like, it was fun, and then I was okay. Like I didn't, I could do a 360 and do a couple grabs and stuff, but I was snowboarding with guys that were doing backflips and, like little rodeos and stuff. And
I never got into anything inverted. I was always like the same as you. I could throw a 360.
Yeah.
In the right circumstances.
Yeah.
And I liked I just liked like hucking and like doing a grab, like a mute grab was probably my favorite. Yeah. Which is where I would reach my right hand across to my left ski and then like pull it and kind of try to tweak it out so it's in a cross.
Yeah.
I always thought the look of like when the skier makes the iron cross.
Yeah.
I always thought that was really cool. And then I like doing tail grabs, again, right hand on my right ski. In that case, I'd suck my skis up underneath me.
You got a famous skier? Is there anyone out there that like you're...
Oh yeah, there's a ton. I really like Tanner Hall.
Okay.
He was great. I went to a freestyle skiing camp in Whistler. It was in the summertime, and we got to ski with like tons of my favorite skiers. Heath Ordaway, Yanni Latella, who was like the gold medal mogul winner. Johnny Mosley was it was like his camp when it's funny, he was only there for like the last day. I was there for 10 days and he came on like the second to last day, I think. Stopping up in the high spot here.
This chair swigs a little bit when they slam on the brakes.
Getting some bounce going.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those guys. Shane McConkey would be another favorite. He was skied for Volant, the like steel skis, and he would just hawk off of anything. And then probably my number one is a French guy. His name's Candide Thovex.
Okay.
And he's got some videos. It's like a One Fine Day series, and it's all just like GoPro cuts of like him out on it's a piece together run, and some crazy stuff set up. And he went off of this like massive jump, and instead of overshooting it, he came up a couple yards short, and he had the exact same fracture.
Oh, no way.
That I had. On like a jump that was about 15 times bigger.
I'm trying to remember all like the big like snowboards. Like I know like the big guy, like when we were doing it with Sean White, and he was just like
still Sean White. I mean, Olympic champion,
revolutionized a lot of tricks, and I remember Danny Cass was always like a guy I loved watching, and like I'd get the snowboard magazines, subscribe to Trans World, and then you'd see like the picture, like, okay, this is the trick I'm going to try to do, and they would have like, okay, here's how you do a 540, rodeo. It's like, okay, I'm going to do that now. Never quite worked out, but I haven't been on the mountain for a couple years. It's my first time out in a couple years, and it's like, man, I miss it. Just going down. It's like, this is, I gotta. Now that we live in Hinton, got to spend a lot more time.
Wilderness Wavelength.
Hey, we're on the knob chair. I'm on the knob chair. Rubes is hanging out in the chalet, just recuperating for his last run a little bit. Knob chair, man, it always was such a legendary chair. It felt like it when you come up to Marmot. You're like, I gotta hit the knob. I gotta get up there to the top of the mountain. I was just looking at some of the best like snowboard riders out there with their gear. Man, I shout out to the guys still wearing like blue jeans and a hoodie. That's a bold move. On a day like today, it's about -5 or so on the hill. Dead. Like hardly anyone out here. It's amazing. For a Saturday, it feels awesome to be on the hill, but also I'm like a little worried. Like, oh, how come no one's out here? Is it the fires in Jasper kind of scared people away? Is it the prices? How come Marmot isn't just packed on a day like today? But for a rider, this is beautiful. I always like to... I've won with guys that are like, oh, let's just show up, and then they spend half their time in the chalet, and a lot of breaks where, I get it, but my ideal day on the mountain is, you get on like the first lift, you're out there waiting for the first lift to get started, and then 4 o'clock comes, and they're like, okay, they're flipping up the seats, and you're getting that last ride in. But amazing day out on Marmot. I'm going to go do this knob run on my own, try to find a couple little tracks, and then I'm going to pick up Rubes down at the bottom, and we're going to do I think one more episode or one more little talk on the way up here. But super, I love the idea of just recording on a podcast. And this knob chair, by the way, amazing. It's a quad now compared to what it was before, and it doesn't feel like as sketchy. I don't know if it's like less high or something. I just remember like right now I'm in the middle of the run, and it doesn't feel like if the lift stopped and I jumped, I would really get too badly hurt. But so I'm going to try a couple runs up here, and then we'll talk to Rubes and we'll wind it down. But thanks for tuning in, guys. If you're liking what you're hearing on the podcast, leave a review. That's like our best way, or tell a friend too, because we have some really interesting guests coming up, and people are passionate about coming on the podcast, which we're really excited about. So drop us a message, Wilderness Wave on Instagram. Great way to find us, wildernesswave@outlook.com. Or if you're listening on like Apple or Spotify, just leave us a review. That would be much appreciated. Okay, I'm going to rip down this track and then see what Rubes is up to. Hey, we're going up again.
Here we are. One more time.
I saw a couple pretty wild crashes. I went up to the top of the knob.
Okay.
And there was a guy. There's like it's almost a 20-foot little rock drop there.
Yeah.
And he was at the top, and I'm riding up the lift. I'm like, oh, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
He did it and landed. Instant crash.
Yeah.
Bumble. Took his snowboard off and was like, I don't know if he was really hurt, but he was really angry with himself. Like, throwing snow around, kicking snow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. He must have been dreaming about that jump all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, beautiful day on the mountain today. And
Absolutely.
no one's here, Rubes.
Yeah, it's pretty
what the hell
empty.
is
We got
going on?
3 or 4 empty chairs in front of us.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's beautiful.
Conditions
The
great.
one thing is the visibility isn't great.
It's weird,
It's overcast, and so that makes it hard to see the contour of the
flat.
snow. When it's a bright, sunny day, it's so much. Just my whole attitude on the mountain is better. I feel like I have twice as much energy.
Yeah.
But that said, I'm way out of shape and don't have nearly as much energy as I should.
You plan to make a few more trips up to Marmot this year, then?
I would like to, yeah. I got a friend who's putting together a boys trip at the end of February, and then my girlfriend's going to take some lessons.
Yeah.
And we were talking about maybe coming back March-ish.
Spring skiing, great out here too.
Yeah,
for
spring
sure.
skiing is awesome. I love it.
There's, I mentioned on when I was going up the knob chair, there's a few guys. Like, shout out to the guys still wearing blue jeans and hoodies going down the hill.
Sure.
Like that's pretty badass. I like the insulated coveralls.
Yeah.
A nice look as well.
Seen a few of those.
Yeah.
You know, the jeans aren't bad while you're skiing. They're not great for mobility, but they get wet and they don't dry.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a big problem.
Your
And then-
legs are just red.
And riding the lift where you're
Yeah.
is just the worst in jeans.
Yeah. It's been, I had a couple crashes today that felt a little jarring.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Like you said, tomorrow might be a different story. And see how
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Sometimes you are okay the next day. Sometimes it feels like you got hit by a truck.
Yeah. The problem is tonight we're doing a bunch of scotch tasting and whiskey tasting, so we might feel like we hit by a truck either way.
Right.
You know?
And different. The muscles won't be sore with that.
Right.
Just the stomach.
We'll
and
blame
head.
it on the skiing, though.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
There's, have you seen any like really good skiers today that you're like, oh, this guy's great?
Oh, yeah. I've seen some people that are definitely like expert level. I haven't seen anyone throwing any big tricks, though. I've seen a few people just kind of airing some of the little side hits.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen their main park either. We've just seen small little like
Well, they
training
got the
parks.
little one when you get off so we're on oh man, I was looking up when I was in there. I think it's called the Rocky Mountain Express or something.
That's
this
right.
one.
Yeah.
So we're on that. You could see at the bottom of the hill they got a little terrain park
But
there.
where are the big like 60-foot tables?
I don't think they exist anymore.
What? They used to be kind of right over there on our left. It'd be, if we come off this chair, that big kind of open area there, they had big, huge tables.
So they had these big jumps there and everything, and we'd hit that all the time.
Yeah.
And so it was like a sunny day, and Dan was going first. And at this point, there's like a lineup for people to hit the jumps, right? So everyone's in line in a queue. 5 letters, 4 vowels in that word, by the way, Q.
Yeah.
But so we're all in a line to hit this. Dan goes down, carves before the jump, and just kind of lays down, like flops over, and lays there. And then so we're like, okay, like whatever. Like,
that's
you
not a
moving,
good.
Dan?
That's not a good spot to be.
Yeah, get out of there because everyone else is trying to hit the jump. Still laying there, so then we're starting to, shout at him, "Get out of the way, Dad!" Like, everyone else, what are you doing?
Can't like carve her. You're going to lose too much speed if you try to turn around them.
turn around someone laying right in front of the jump.
Yeah, that's not good.
And so then after a few minutes, so then I go down and see. I'm like, Dan, what are you doing? And he's like, broke something.
Oh no!
And broke his collarbone.
What?
Yeah. So at that time, he's like, he just was in super pain, didn't exactly know what's going on, but knew that something was wrong.
Broke his collarbone just kind of laying down before the jump.
Just carved before the jump, and just how he carved and caught an edge, and it must have been more of like a whiplash into it, I guess. But
that sucks.
Had to get strapped to
the spine board.
And he's like the guys who come up and haul him down the mountain.
Yeah.
He's like, they were just going like full blast.
Yeah.
He's strapped in there. There's, hey, hold on, we're heading down here.
Yeah, they rip it.
Yeah, some Australian guy that's been here for the last 2 months. And he's like, I'll get you down in the bottom. But yeah, broke his collarbone on the hill. We were able. There was one person from our group that I think he took the ambulance to the hospital, if I remember right, and someone went with him. And the rest of us were like, okay, what do we do? Do we stop snowboarding or just give him his best wishes?
Well,
and then
he would want you to keep going.
Yeah.
That's what
we kept going.
I think he was. What would Dan want?
What would Dan want? He'd want us to hit that jump
want you
and
to, get out there,
do some big tricks. So
get back on the horse.
Yeah,
so to
we're
speak.
we're getting closer to the top of this ride, but this has been a podcast live from a mountain, which I feel like is it's a rare occurrence. There's not many podcasts
Just on chairlifts.
Yeah, broadcasting from chairlifts. Yeah, I think it's a good mountain to come out if you're looking for a spot to go. Marmot Basin, man.
Yeah, there's a little
Sweet.
bit of every kind of terrain here.
Yeah.
Really nice glades, good moguls, good easy groomed groomers all the way from the very top to the bottom.
Didn't mention it, but on the drive up here, the first half the mountain on the drive has all been burnt this summer.
Yeah.
It was just like a whole new visual. Like you're seeing a completely different landscape than you would have seen if you were here last year.
Yeah, pretty sad.
Which is, it's sad, but the hill untouched.
Yeah.
And that knob chair that I went up on,
Yeah.
way better than it was before.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and lower. The posts are lower.
Oh, okay.
And there's like a little moving sidewalk you get on that whisks you up to
They call those a magic carpet, typically.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a small magic carpet that gets you ready for getting on the lift.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, thanks for encouraging us to come out today, Rubes.
Yeah,
it looks
thanks
like
for
the
coming
sun's
with
about
me.
to come out now, too.
Yeah, just been trying hard to get out, but still trapped behind a bunch of clouds.
Yeah. We'll sign off from here. Thanks for listening to the Wilderness Wavelength podcast. If you want to join us on the top of a mountain someday, I feel the wind picking up now.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, that's the cue to get off for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Last run of the day, what's your biggest trick you're going to do?
540. I'm going to try and go inverted on this one.
Nice. Inverted 540.
Yeah, the backwards landing too, not the backwards takeoff.
We'll post pictures of it. Okay, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Wilderness Wavelength.